When is an accessory more than an accessory? When it becomes your ultimate go-to resource for your game. And we're going to talk about one of mine today on Tabletop Tuesday. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's Tuesday, and that means we are going to talk about some games. With me focusing on the Marvel Super Heroes FASERIP Advanced set last week, one of the 2 to 3-ish books I swear by, it only made sense to dive into the second one I use every single time I play, the Ultimate Powers book by David E. Martin. Yeah, you can see my beautiful binder copy here. Copyright in '87, the game came out just a year or so after the advance set, clocking in at a trim 96 pages. It is a book that focuses almost entirely on a single purpose, expanding the available powers players can roll up for their heroes. And expand them it did. In the advance set, the power section was lean and trim, fitting into a couple pages with descriptions at the back of the book. The Ultimate Powers book trades that in for an absolute deluge of options. 3 full pages detail 16 power categories each, containing as few as 4 powers to well over 20. All the possible combinations utilizing these tables is beyond my capacity to imagine. It is immense and it is awesome. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. The UPB didn't just expand on superpowers, it expanded on nearly every aspect of character creation, sparing only things like resources, popularity, specific talents and contacts, things you'd have to go back to the original advanced set to fill out. So even though its stated objective were the superpowers, it certainly went well beyond that goal. So let's dive into the specifics. Chapter 1 covers character creation. Moving beyond the altered human, mutant, etc. categories, we now have variations of mutants, all manner of robots, demi-humans, shapeshifters, all kinds of things. With over 40 options, you can not only create a whole slew of new superhero types, you can also roll my all-time favorite type, compound. If you want a good example of what a compound superhero might be, look no further than the maniac from Canada, Wolverine. He's a random mutant, sure, with his healing factor and various other abilities, but the adamantium lace skeleton and claws are pure modified human, and that's exactly how you roll him up, compound. See, a compound character combines multiple superhero types within one being. You roll to see how many, and then you roll to see what aspects of the various types get incorporated. Or just work with your judge on the specifics. So long as you're not power gaming, they'll probably let you sculpt whatever idea tickles your fancy. After the types is a handy chart detailing your heroic origin. Will it be natal, meaning your powers formed in utero? Will it be energy exposure, like the Fantastic Four? All these little descriptions add a lot of flavor, in my opinion, and I'm grateful that we have that. Don't have to come up with everything under the sun on my own. Reprinted after the origins is the rank category table for convenience, and just past that is the weakness generator. I have found this section to be hit or miss. Here, you roll up your specific character's inherent weakness, like kryptonite or whatever. Then you detail the effect, like losing your powers or going unconscious or whatever. Then it's the duration, whether it's permanent or temporary. This section is hit or miss for me, as sometimes it adds flavor, and in fact, it added a layer of flavor to an entire superhero universe I play in, where all the superheroes have the same base weakness. But then again, not every superhero needs one of these Achilles heel weaknesses, and I encourage judges to consider ignoring it if it doesn't seem to add anything to your game, because it can be disruptive. Anywho, after that, we get to the good stuff, and I mean the other good stuff. I mean, this stuff was good, but this is the main event. The ads are over, the movie's about to start. As I said earlier, the power section is just an avalanche of options for players. You can roll up 1,000 characters, and not one of them will be identical, or maybe even similar to one another. There's that many powers in there. It's freaking awesome. You have an entire section on defenses like artificial body armor, force fields and resistances. You have detection powers like super senses and such. Every kind of energy power you can imagine, and then some. There are even powers detailing things only used for fighting, like super martial arts or claws. There's illusions, there's powers that's specific to messing with life functions, there's magic, there's all kinds and sorts of matter manipulations, mental powers, physical powers, self-alterations, travel powers, and even the power to affect superpowers. Create them, take them away, boost them, dampen them, you name it, it's here. For the remaining 70 odd pages, all this book are the exhaustive descriptions of every single power, not limited to just a little paragraph. Some of these descriptions go on for a page or more. It's fantastic. Further important are the fact where the original advanced set allowed powers of only 2 to 5. This set can start you off with 1 and then ramp you up to 14. Yes, that's right. Characters can have 14 different superpowers or more. I know I've rolled several of them up throughout the years. You might think it'd be overwhelming, and I suppose it is, but it's also deeply engaging and fascinating to try and bring in all these superpowers together under a cohesive idea. Like crafting a great story, it requires nuance and really feels satisfying once you get it down. But I digress. Also expanded are the number of talents and contacts you get, which is also freaking awesome. Sadly, the book does not expand on the actual talents or contacts options, so you're still stuck with the list from the advanced set. That being said, there's several ultimate talent lists I've seen online made by fans, some quite good, so have a look around online if you feel, stymied by the original options. Now, as much as I heap praise and obvious excitement with this book, and what it can bring to the table, it also is not flawless. Beyond some basic typos and errata that needed done throughout the years, a copy of which can be found on classicmarvelforever.com, link in the description. The one thing that really irked me was that not all the powers that were in the advanced set are reflected in the ultimate book. For example, simple powers like projectile missile or ensnaring missile, one power in the advanced set representing things like bullets or sticky shots or whatever. Now you have to combine missile creation with things like spray or web casting or whatever. It takes a simple gun type idea and makes it way more complicated than it needs to be. Things like the super helpful raise lowest ability from the advanced set is completely absent from the UPB, something that annoys me, as sometimes a player will roll someone they want to be, super strong, and just don't have the stats for it. Raise lowest, which I often adjudicate to just raise whatever so long as you have a good justification, is a tragic omission. Basic immortality, solar regeneration, and a number of other powers I found enjoyable from the advanced set are likewise missing and have to be recreated with the judge, which I do without a fuss, but it's annoying for a set that's sole purpose is to blow up the superpowers option doesn't even include everything from the baseline set. Further, just to dive down on a tangent real quick, there's the specific rules governing certain powers. While there are many examples, the one I like to pull out best are all the creation powers, like artifact creation, mechanical creation, weapons creation, all those. Firstly, they cost 2 slots, so they're expensive for a player to obtain. In a superhero that has limited slots, they're really going to have to lean into this concept and commit to it because there ain't going to be much room for a lot of other options. Secondly, the rules set they slap on it, I just flat ignore it. The rules state that for every ounce, not pound, ounce of matter you create, you lose a health. In a game where most superheroes are going to have, 50 to 100 health, that's 49 to 99 ounces of matter. Imagine someone that creates their weapon on the fly trying to utilize this. They just flat out die right there. It's dumb. So I universally throw out the health cost and I bump up the material created to pounds instead of ounces. It has yet to create any level of disruption, so I think I'm okay on this particular point. One more thing, a tiny thing, before I wrap up this review. They omitted the ability modifier table from the advanced set, and that always made me scratch my head. They got origin, they got stats, they got the powers and all that, but they omitted the modifier table. They omitted talents and contacts too, but the modifier table omission always made me raise an eyebrow. It's a minor point. So overall, what do I think? I think it's so damn awesome. I've been playing it with it since it first got copied decades ago, and it's so awesome. The copy my wife printed off for me is still right here in the binder and probably will be forever, especially considering this thing goes for some bucks online. Damaged copies on eBay start in the $40 range, while in better condition spike up to close to or over $100, so it is pricey. Thankfully, it is available completely free with an edition that has errata and such in it at classicmarvelforever.com. I always say get your physical media, unless it just ain't possible. But if you get yourself a free copy, I definitely print it off and maybe put it in a nice little binder like this one, make it all special looking and such. I highly recommend it. And no, more than that, I pretty much swear by it. I've had just one superhero campaign in the last several years, probably a couple decades, where I used only the advanced set, and it was just for some nostalgia. It was a gimmick. Every single one outside that gimmick was with the UPB. I swear by it. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Something to check out here when you've had the time and the inclination. I have found it invaluable over the years. But that there's all I got for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. And as my itty bitty little channel is just starting out, I appreciate each and every one of y'all that stop by. Now, get out there yourselves today and gather around that table, roll some dice. When you're done, maybe pop in a good movie, watch a cartoon, read a comic. Make sure you drink a little water and get some exercise. And as always, have a good